ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्री महागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। So namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guru.
Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. So mantra 2.1.10 we will chant. Purusha evedam vishwam karma
Purusha evedam vishwam karma
tapo brahma paramritam
tapo brahma paramritam
etadyo veda nihitam guhayam
etadyo veda nihitam guhayam
so vidya grantim vikiratiha somya
so vidya grantim vikiratiha somya.
And we will also read the last sentence of the bhashya. Paramritam
Paramritam
paramamamritam
paramamritam
ahame veti yo veda nihitam stitham guhayam hridi sarva praninam saha evam vijnanat avidya granthim iva dridhi bhutam avidyavasanam vikirate vikshipate nashayate iha jivanneva namritaha san he somya priyadarshana. Yeah. So today we will complete this section, and also I will start the summary of this section, and probably we'll finish the summary also. I may probably take a few minutes extra, so please bear with me. Okay. This is the first announcement to mentally prepare all of you for a little late sitting. So, we had a very heavy dose of Advaita Vedanta in the last class. And as I said, unless some fundamental concepts of Advaita Vedanta is not understood at this stage, it will make no sense in going ahead. And one of the most fundamental issue in Advaita Vedanta, about which there is a lot of misconception, there is a lot of debate and lot of disagreement also, is this Satyam and Mithya issue. And unless you understand the Mithyatvam of the world in the correct perspective, you may continue with your learning, but you will not be able to reconcile with and assimilate the Upanishadic teaching, and therefore moksha will be as far away as it seems now. And you will continue to be in the realm of Dvaitam or Visishta Advaitam. You will continue to be in the samsara with no hope of redemption. And there is a word in English, myth. I'm sure all of you know the word myth. Mythology is coming, is derived from that word myth. And one of the meanings of this word is an idea which many people believe, but that does not exist or is false. See, what a beautiful word, myth. And perhaps this word myth has its roots or origin in the Sanskrit word mithya, because that is exactly what this mithya means. An idea which many people believe, but that does not exist or is false. And most people believe that the world is real because they do what I call a pest analysis. PEST, pest analysis. Now, what is this pest analysis? P stands for perceptibility. E stands for experienceability. S stands for serviceability. That is the utility. It has got utility. And T stands for transactability. Because every object passes the pest test, they take the world as real. Because the world, they see every object has got, it is perceptible, objectifiable, experienceable. It has certain utility, and we can transact also with every object. And therefore, because every object passes the pest test, they take the world as real. What they do not understand is that these features do not make the world real, or in Vedantic terminology, Satya. Because as we saw in the last class, for something to be Satyam, it has to fulfill the condition of existence in all three periods of time. And the scriptures say Satyam or reality or truth is only one, even though people refer to it with different names. As Rigveda says, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. Therefore, there can be only one truth, one changeless reality. Our Prime Minister Modi earlier used to quote this quite often in his speeches. Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. And to find out whether any object is real, we subject each object to what I call the pi test. Pi means P-I-E, pi test. All of us have heard of pie, isn't it? Baked food like apple pie, cherry pie, etc. You must also have heard about pie charts, In statistics, it comes, which are types of graphs depicting data in a circular form. But the Vedanta pi stands for permanency, illusory, and existence. So the first question we have to ask is, whenever we look at an object, whether this object is permanent. And permanent, we have already defined that which exists in all three periods of time. And in the last class, we discussed that if we examine all the objects in the world, we will not find a single object which will pass the permanency test. As I said, constant change is the changeless reality of this world. And the second test is whether it is an illusion. What I am seeing, experiencing is an illusion. Because we consider many illusions as real. And therefore, to find out whether an object which looks real is only an illusion requires an in-depth examination, including sometimes taking the scientific facts into account. Now, what do I mean by illusion? The most glaring example of illusion is sunrise and sunset. Both of these are just illusions. And the reality is that the sun neither rises nor sets, but remains fixed and even does not move. But the whole world believes in sunrise and sunset as real. And lot of, these karmas in the Karma Kanda, they are all related to the sunrise and sunset business, assuming it as real. We talk of Uttarayanam, Dakshinayanam, the movement of the sun towards the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere and all. Arey Baba, that sun doesn't move at all. Where is the question of Uttarayanam, Dakshinayanam? It is an illusion created by the movement of the earth, which we are not observing. And we take the sunrise and sunset as real. And Shastra talks about a few more examples. The most popular being the rope snake example, illusion. Illusory snake superimposed on the rope. Then there is a Marichi Udakam example, the mirage water. Or Shuptika Rajatam, mistaking an oyster shell on a seashore for a silver piece. And therefore, the second question we have to find an answer is whether what we consider as real is merely an illusion. We saw the rainbow example also in the last class, isn't it? And the third is the nature of the existence test. That is whether the object has got an independent existence or a dependent existence. Again, we will find that we cannot perceive any object in the world which is independently existing. The perception of every object is at least dependent upon our five sense organs. Without the faculty of sight, we cannot perceive form and color. If our nose is blocked due to cold, we cannot smell a fragrant flower, or even you cannot judge what is or find out what is the cooking going on in the kitchen? Because you can't smell. Therefore, the proof of like that for each sense organ, we can come up with examples. Therefore, the proof of existence of all objects is dependent on one or more of our sense organs. And not only sense organs, but we also need light to illumine that object for us to perceive it with our eyes. Suppose the object is there, it is in a dark room, our sense organs cannot perceive. That does not mean that object is real. When we shine a light on that object, we will know. So light is required, another dependence to perceive that object. Therefore, with all this analysis that we do through the pi test, we will come to the conclusion there is no object which is self-evident. It doesn't reveal itself on its own. It requires some external instruments or means for it to be made evident. But now the Shastra comes up with a riddle. Firstly, Shastra agrees with our conclusion that no object is independently existent. And then the Shastra says, however, there is one entity which is not an object, but which is independently existent. Of course, we are taken aback because we have considered each and every object in the world and we have come to the conclusion, na iti, na iti, na iti, neti, neti, neti. We have come to the conclusion this is not independently existent. This is not independently existence. So we are taken aback. And Shastra says, don't worry, I will myself answer the riddle. It says, you, the subject, your inner essence, your innate nature, the real you is independently existent. You do not need your sense organs to know that I exist. You do not need any external light to know that you exist. In all states, that is Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti Avastha, you are aware of your existence constantly. And you are of the nature of Sat Chit and Ananda, existence, consciousness and limitlessness. You are the existence, consciousness. You, the existence, consciousness, is eternally existent. You are the only entity who passes the pi test. And Shastra gives you several names like Brahman, Atma, Purusha, etc. And here the name given is Paramritam in this mantra. But that does not mean that you cast away everything, every object in the world, every relationship in the world, which is impermanent. Because many of them are capable of giving you temporary joy, though not permanent happiness. And therefore, Shastra says, continue to engage with them. But do not be emotionally obsessed with any of them. And I am repeating all these because in the satsang of the last class, there was a request to repeat some of the important points. And also, It is necessary from a spiritual advancement standpoint that we listen to these teachings as many times as possible for us to assimilate them. And therefore, don't think, oh, is this last class also said the same thing, this class also. Of course, I tried to be different, from a different angle I have approached in this class. But the core of the message remains the same. Okay. Now let us come back to the Bhashyam discussion from where we left off in the last class. And we were discussing the Bhashyam on the second line of the mantra. Etadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam So Vidya Grantim Vikiratiha Somya. So here the Upanishad says this Brahman, the pure existence, which is called Parama Amritam by Bhashyakara, has to be recognized only in one's own Hridayam as ever evident consciousness. And for removal of any doubt about this statement, Bhashyakara says, Paramamritam aham eva iti. The absolutely eternal Brahman, aham eva, I alone am. And it is to be recognized thus in the cave of the heart of every living being, Sarva Praninam. Thus, once we recognize that inner essence of every living being is that absolutely eternal Brahman, all differences between the living beings, which are superficial differences based on their nama rupa, they will all fall away. So, we will achieve the first level of samatvam. I will start loving all living beings the same way I love myself. And this is what Bhashyakara wants to emphasize by explaining the word Guhayam as Hridi Sarva Praninam. And therefore, that eternal Brahman is to be discovered or recognized as consciousness in the cave of the heart of all living beings. Now, when this is said, there may be a doubt. We have said earlier that Brahman is Sadrupaha, pure existence. But here we are saying something different. We are saying Brahman is consciousness, Chidrupaha. So which is correct? Please tell me one thing. Don't confuse me, isn't it? Whether Brahman is Sadrupaha or Chidrupaha, existence or consciousness. And that may be a doubt in the mind of many students. The answer is both are correct. And the details of these both we will be getting in the following sections.
Chapati Malalva. Chapati hitil, Chapati Malalva.
I think Lataji, please mute yourself. So as I said, both the answers are correct, that Brahman who is to be discovered, recognized in the cave of the heart is both Sadrupa and Chidrupa. Now the question is how the same Sat is obtaining in the mind as Chit. All these details of the Chit we will get in the next section. This section is focusing on Sadrupa existence. So this section is Tatpada Pradhana section. The next section will be Twampada Pradhana section. So we will see the details there. Here we have to note only this much. as Sakshi Chaitanya Rupena Sthitam, Yaha Vedaha, the one who knows. And we have to complete by adding Sarvamidam Vijnatam Bhavati. So as we, and we have to complete, so answer to the question of the student, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati, is by knowing that Brahman, that eternal consciousness, as the inner essence of everything, everything will be as well known. So with this, the Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam is also revealed. So now the knowledge is complete. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. And the idea of Aham Jivaha is replaced by Aham Brahmaiva Naparaha. Now, a standard question many people ask. Okay, all your Vedanta and all is very fine. You have been attending the classes. What are you getting out of all these things? Because our orientation has become like that. We always expect something from everything, isn't it? Relationship, something we want, something to benefit us. What is therein for me? And therefore, Bhashyakara says, Saha evam vijnanat. Saha refers to the wise person. Evam vijnanat, by gaining such knowledge, avidya granthim vikirati. He destroys the knot of ignorance. K-N-O-T, knot. Avidya granthim means the knot of ignorance. And why is ignorance called a knot? Because we have been given, in other places, a particular meaning is given. Bhashyakara doesn't give that meaning. He gives a different meaning. Now, what is the normal meaning we give? We say knot will join two threads together, isn't it? Therefore, always a knot is a linking factor, a combining factor. And that is why during our Hindu weddings, especially, I think it is there north also, but I'm not very sure. During our South Indian weddings, the groom ties the three knots in the Mangal Sutra. What it implies? Of course, there are various interpretations about the significance of the three knots. I'm not going into that because it is not relevant for the present discussion. The three knots means we will be knitted together throughout our life, something like that. So many explanations are there. What we have to note is a knot is a linking factor, combining factor. And in the context of avidya granthi, the avidya also combines two things, two uncombinable things. What are they? Atma and Anatma. Ignorance about the difference. Drik and Drishyam. Shariri and Shariram. Chit, the Atma, and Jada, the Anatma. These uncombinable pairs are being tied together by the knot of avidya. In fact, in Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, Bhashyakara gives an Adhyasa Bhashya, introduction to Brahma Sutra. He begins by saying, Yushmat Asmat Pratyaya Gocharayoho Vishaya Vishayinoho Tamaprakashavat Viruddha Swabhavayoho Itaretara Bhavanurupa Pattau Siddhayam. So he says, that what is viruddha swabhavaha? Two things. Yushmat and asmat pratyayas. They are viruddha, opposite to each other. But because of this tamaprakashavad, like the darkness, because ignorance is compared to darkness. So avidya, the knot, which joins atma anatma, is removed, is destroyed, is untied. By what? By this knowledge. So this is the meaning that we generally give for avidya granthi, not of ignorance, not of avidya. But then Bhashyakara does not go to all these details, doesn't go to such an extent. He keeps it very simple. He says, Grantim iva dhridi bhutam avidya vasanam vikirati vikshipati nashayati iha jivanneva na mritaha san. So the starting itself, he says, Grantim iva. Iva means as though. So Grantim iva means as though a knot. And why he is saying as though? Because it is not a knot in the usual sense of the term, which is tying two ends or of a thread or a rope. Like we saw, ignorance of the real self is like tying a knot between Atma and Anatma. That is why he says, Iva. As though tying. And here the word granthi or knot is used in the sense of entanglement. And he says, he accepts that this knot is very difficult, very hard to disentangle. As such, when there is a knot, between two threads, sometimes it happens, we find any tight knot is very difficult to untie. The older the knot, the more difficult it is. And if the two ends of a string have been knotted tightly, all the more challenging. Similarly, avidya also is a very hard to remove, like a Gordian knot, they say, very naughty knot. K-N-O-T-T-Y knot, and we can also say N-A-U-G-H-T-Y knot. Both naughty we can use. Naughty and naughty.
Tying yourself into knots has got a different connotation.
Sorry?
Tying yourself into knots.
Yeah. Tying
to
knots. Yes, exactly. A different connotation. So, what it means is the knot generally, it's very strong, very not easy to untie. So he says this knot is dhridi bhutam, a strong knot, which has become too firm due to passage of time. And as I said, in the case of other knots also between two strings, after a long time, it becomes more and more difficult to untie. Similarly, this avidya is also not yesterday's or last week's or last month's knot. It is anadi. It has been there from beginningless times, in and through all our previous janmas, crores of previous janmas, which he calls avidya vasana. The knot has been there as though it is the part of our past samskaras, our past vasanas. Such a strong and powerful knot, vikirati. Vikirati is in the moolam is equal to vikshipati, is equal to nashayati, is destroyed, untied, disentangled. by whom? The wise person who has discovered and gained the knowledge that Purushaha evedam vishwam sarvam. Everything is this Purusha alone, Brahman alone. So the final meaning is he destroys the knot, tears asunder, scatters away. Whatever you want to use, you use. Because the literal meaning of Vikirati means scatters. But in this context, we can translate as disintegrates or destroys. Destroys the darkness of ignorance through the light of knowledge which this wise person has gained. Now, another question will come because students always have doubts, questions, very valid questions. Now, once we come to Vedanta and listen to all this moksha and all that, we are in a hurry, isn't it? Anxious. Oh, good. I've completed 4 years of this Vedanta study. I must be very near the moksha now, isn't it? So, question will come. After gaining the knowledge, how much time will it take for the removal of ignorance? Because they have heard people who do not have any clue about Advaita Vedanta, they will say, oh, okay, you are attending Advaita Vedanta classes. Very good. But listen, one thing, you are not going to get moksha in this life. Moksha will come only after death. So then these people will have a doubt. They will say, oh, is that so? Moksha is after death. Then why am I wasting time in this life? So therefore, on the understanding of moksha, Advaita Vedanta differs from Visishta Advaitam and Dvaitam. Because they do not have the concept of Jivan Mukti. For them, the first qualification for moksha or mukti is maranam. One has to die. And thereafter travel. That is the parampada. Even though we simulate crossing the Swargavasal every Vaikunta Ekadashi day, the original crossing takes place only at the time of Maranam, followed by Shuklagati travel, and then Vaikunta Loka Prapti. That alone is moksha for them. And if we ask them what is the proof, they have no proof to offer because nobody has come back and said this is what happened. Isn't it? Puranas say, and also, somewhere even Upanishads are talking. We have seen that earlier. Amritam, they talk about in Brahmaloka. So that is moksha, they will say. But Bhashyakara says it is nothing like that. The Upanishads say, Jnanat eva kaivalyam, knowledge removes ignorance instantaneously. There is no time gap. And therefore he says, Iha jivan neva. Iha is in the moolam, is equal to jivan neva. He says, now look at the mantra, it says Iha. And what other meaning can you attribute other than jivan neva? Iha means what? Here, now. In this life itself, while living itself. So the moment the knowledge comes, ignorance is destroyed, person becomes jivan mukta here and now. And that is true also, isn't it? Suppose we are ignorant of something. We are ignorant what is the solution, we are mathematics students, solution of a plus b whole square. We are ignorant. As a 8th class or middle school student, we will be ignorant. So teacher comes and he says that this is the formula. You have to expand a plus b whole square like this. A square plus 2ab plus b square. The moment he tells that, our ignorance is gone. The moment the knowledge is given, ignorance disappears immediately. It is not that in a dark room, you light a lamp and then the darkness slowly over the next 1 hour it goes away. No. The moment you light a lamp, the whole darkness vanishes. And therefore, this question itself, after gaining knowledge, how much time it will take for moksha is a good question, but it is to be understood that there is no time gap. And he makes it further clear by saying, Na mrita son, not after death. Whereas Bhashikara knows that many people have got this wrong idea or a misconception that moksha is after death. So he adds that Na mrita son. So moksha is not something to be gained posthumously. And finally he says Somya. It is there in the Moolam. He indicates that it is Sambodhana, and so he supplies He Somya. He says the meaning is Priyadarshana, the one who is extremely pleasant to look at. Our Guru should be like that, isn't it? Guru has to keep on encouraging the student with pleasant words, not point out the weaknesses of the students. So, He Somya, Bhashyakara explains. So, with this Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam is revealed, Phalam is also revealed, which is Jivan Muktihi. And with this, the first section of the second chapter is completed. Now, before entering the second chapter, we will read all the mantras of this section. Then I will give you the summary so that we have got an overall picture of this section. And as I said, I will repeat, I may take a few more minutes, but please bear with me. Still, we have got 18 minutes to go. Hopefully, we will complete it. Let us see. We will read the mantras. There are 10 mantras and we can broadly divide them into 4 groups. First part is consisting of the first mantra. Second part consisting of the second mantra. Third part consisting of mantras number 3 to 9. And the last part is the 10th mantra. So first we will read the first mantra. All of you can unmute. Tadetat satyam.
Tadetat
Satyam
Satyam
Yatha.
Yathatha
Sudiptat pavakat.
Sutipta
Pavakad
Pavaka
Vispulingaha.
Gaha
Sahasrashaha.
Sahasrasha
Shaha
Bhavante.
Bhavante
Sarupaha.
Sarupaha
Paha
Atha.
Tatha
Tatha
Akshara.
Akshara
Akshara
Advividaha.
Advividaha
Akshara Advividaha.
Akshara
Akshara
Advidaha
Advitaha
Somya Bhavaha.
Somya Bhavaha
Bhavaha
Prajayante.
Prajayante
Ayante
Trachaiva.
Prachaiva
Prachaiva
Yanti.
Priyanti
Yanti.
So in this mantra, Brahman, Aksharam, which is called Satyam, is presented as Jivotpatti Karanam, the cause of creation of the Jivas. Jivas are born means the Jiva Upadhis are born. Brahman being the cause of the creation of Upadhi, the body-mind complex, therefore Brahman is said to be the cause of creation of Jivas. And further, Shruti gives the example of fire and sparks. Just as the sparks are born of fire, and the sparks are sarupa of the same nature, similarly, the jivas, which are born of Brahman, have the same nature as Brahman. And we saw that Bhashyakara gave another example to make this idea very clear, that how the creation of jiva is from Brahman. He gave the example of Akasha, space. Just as the Akasha, the Mahakasha, the total space, is said to be the cause of the creation of Ghatakasha, pot space, based on the creation of Upadhi. Similarly, here, based on the creation of the Upadhi, Brahman is said to be the cause of the Jiva. So, this is how the section gets introduction as Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Now, the second mantra is talking about Nirupadikam or Nirgunam Brahma Aksharam. We will read the second mantra. Divyoha Murtaha
Divyohamurtaha
Divyohyamurtaha
Purushaha Abhakyabhyantaraha
Sabhagyabhyantaraha
Yajaha
Rajaha
Apranaha
Apranaha
Manaha
Manaha
Yumnaha
Subraha
Yaksharat Parataha Paraha.
Paratara.
So in this mantra, Brahman is presented as Nirupadika Tattvam. Nirupadika means without Upadhi. And that Brahman is Divyaha. Bhashyakara gave three meanings for Divyaha. The mantra describes the other characteristics of Brahman as Amurtaha, that which is formless, Purushaha, that which is filling up everything, pervading everything, and present in everybody. And therefore, that Purushaha is Sabhakyabhyantaraha, both outside and inside. And Ajaha, without any birth, birthless, without any modification. Apranaha, Amanaha, without any upadhis like pranaha and manaha. And Shubhraha, which is Shuddhaha. Then finally, it is said, Aksharat Parataf Paraha, that which is beyond, that which is superior to Maya, which is also called Para, superior compared to its effect. So it is superior even to Maya. So here the word Aksharat, I already explained, refers to Maya. So this Brahman is superior to Maya also. And after describing or presenting this Nirupadika Brahman, from 3rd to 9th mantra, the Upanishad says that the creation of everything from that Akshara Brahman, that Akshara Brahman creates everything in this universe. This is the content of the 7th mantras, mantras 3 to 9. We will read all the mantras together and finally I will summarize it. Okay. Etasmad jayate
Etasmad jayate
pranaha
manaha
sarvendriyani cha
Sarvendriyani
kam vayur jyotirapaha
Samvayurjyotirapaha
Rabhyabhya
prithvi vishwasya dharini
Prithivye
Prithvi
Vishwasya
agnir murdha chakshushi
Nirmurtakshushi
chandra suryau
Chandra Suryo
vishasrotre
Vishasrotre
वाग्विवृत्ताश्च वेदाः
वाग्विवृद्धास्ते वेदाः
वायुः प्राणः
वायुः प्राणः
हृदयं विश्वमस्य
हृदयं विश्वमस्य
पद्भ्यां पृथिवी
पद्भ्यां पृथिवी
एष सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
एष सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा
Now fifth mantra. Tasmadagniः
तस्मादग्निः
अमिदः
समिदः
यस्य सूर्यः
यस्य सूर्यः
सोमात् पर्जन्यः
सोमात्पर्जन्यः
औषधयः
औषधयः
दिव्यां
पृथिव्यां
पुमान् रेतः
पुमान्त्रः
सिञ्चति
सिञ्चति
योषितायां
योषितायां
बह्वीः प्रजाः पुरुषात् सम्प्रसूताः
पुरुषाः सम्प्रसूताः
तस्मात् ऋचः
तस्मात् ऋचः
कामयजोगुंषि
सामयजोगुंषि
दीक्षायज्ञाश्च
दीक्षायज्ञाश्च
सर्वे क्रतवः
सर्वे कृतवः
दक्षिणाश्च
दक्षिणाश्च
संवत्सरश्च
सम्प्रदश्च
यजमानश्च
यजमानश्च
लोकाः
लोकाः
सोमः
सोमो
यत्र पवते
यत्र पवते
यत्र
यत्र
सूर्यः
सूर्यः
तस्माच्च
तस्माच्च
देवा बहुधा सम्प्रसूताः
सम्प्रसूताः
आद्या मनुष्याः
साध्या मनुष्याः
पशवो वयांसि
पशवो वयांसि
प्राणापानौ
प्राणापानौ
व्रीहियवौ
व्रीह्यवौ
तपश्च श्रद्धा
तपश्च श्रद्धा
सत्यं ब्रह्मचर्यं
सत्यं ब्रह्मचर्यं
विधिश्च
विधिश्च
सप्तप्राणाः
सप्तप्राणाः
प्रभवन्ति तस्मात्
प्रभवन्ति तस्मात्
सप्तार्चिषः
सप्तार्चिषः
समिदः
समिदः
सप्तहोमाः
सप्तहोमाः
सप्त इमे लोकाः
सप्त इमे लोकाः
येषु चरन्ति
चरन्ति
प्राणाः
प्राणाः
गुहाशया
गुहाशया
निहिताः
निहिताः
सप्त सप्त
सप्त सप्त
मंत्र अतः समुद्राः
समुद्राः
गिरयश्च सर्वे
गिरयश्च सर्वे
स्यन्दन्ते
सन्त्यन्ते
सिन्धवः
सिन्धवः
स्वरूपाः
स्वरूपाः
अतश्च
अतश्च
ओषधयः
हृदयः
रसश्च
तस्य
एष
Esha
Ekesha
Bhutastishthathe
Bhutastishtase
Bhutastishtate
Hyantaratma.
Antaratma.
Very good. So in these mantras, it is said that everything is born of this Brahma, and this everything is presented in various ways. The central idea is that everything is born of Paramatma, and that everything was presented in the model of Panchamahabhutas and Bhutakaryas, elements and elementals. That is, Bhuta and Bhautika were presented as everything which is born of Brahman. All the accessories involved in karma are born of Paramatma. All the praja, the creatures which are going through the Panchagni, the five factors, each of which are looked upon as Agni, they are also born of this Paramatma. And then mountains, rivers, all of them, all the lokas, all are born of Paramatma. And finally, everything is born of Paramatma. That was the central message of these 7 mantras. So many details are there which we have seen already when we went through all these mantras. So the ultimate message is understand this whole Vishwam, the whole universe, every object, everything that you perceive, all are born of Brahman Paramatma alone, consciousness alone. And now we will read the 10th mantra, which we completed in today's class. Okay. Purusha evedam vishwam
Purusha evedam
Vedam
vishwam
Vishwam
karma tapaha
Karma
karma
tapaha
Karma
tapaha
Tapaha
brahma paramritam
brahma
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 paramritam
paramritam
Paramityam
etadyo veda
etadyo
Etadyo
veda
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 nihitam guhayam
Nihitam Guhayam
guhayam
Guhaya
so vidya granthim
So
so
Vidya
vidya
So
granthim
Vidya
Granthim
Granthim
vikiratiha somya.
Vikirati
iha
Vikirati
somya.
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 So in this mantra, the tatparyam of presenting the Srishti Prakaranam by Shruti was given. The objective of the Shruti, the tatparyam of the scriptures is not in presenting the creation with all its details, even though the Shruti ventures out to give so many details. The real tatparyam is in showing that since everything is born of Brahman, everything is Brahman. Just as all parts are born of clay, therefore all parts are nothing but clay. Similarly, everything is Brahman, and that Brahman can be recognized as existence. Sadrupa, which is inherent in the entire world born of Brahman. And that existence obtained in this world along with Nama Rupa. So when we experience or when we recognize existence, it is recognized with Nama and Rupa. And to appreciate it without Nama Rupa, we appreciate it as Chaitanyam, as the truth of the negator of all the Nama Rupa. And therefore, Sat Brahman is to be understood as oneself, which is consciousness. And that was said, Etadyo Vihitam, Etadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. And the one who knows this becomes free from avidya granthi, the knot of ignorance. So, this is the summary of section 2.1. which I said is Tatpadartha Pradhanam, where Brahman is presented as Ishvara, the creator of the world. And in the last sentence of the mantra, Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam is also revealed. Now, the next section will be Tvam Pradartha Pradhana, or in other words, in this section, Brahman was presented as Karanam, which is available to be recognized as existence everywhere. And in the next section, second section of the second Mundaka, as I said, will be Chit Pradhanam. There, almost every mantra will reveal that Sat which is there, the existence which you see, that will be equated with Chit, the consciousness. We will enter the second section of the second Mundaka in the next class. So I've been able to keep my time more or less. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very
Dhanyawada,
much.
Guruji.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Om.
Thank you very much for summarizing the last class. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Guruji. Pranam.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Thank you. Yes. Any questions? Comments?
I think it was clear.
No hands are going up.
I think you have explained very well.
Hariji's hands are going up. He's there in the class today.
Uh,
Yes, Hariji. Unmute.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Guruji, I've been always thinking why this Vedantic knowledge came only in the eastern part of the world. It was the knowledge should have been universal, is it not?
See, that shows one thing. And eastern part, when you say, is a very generalization. I would only say Indian subcontinent.
Yeah, Indian sub. Yeah, okay.
To be more specific.
Yeah.
Because now scientists are saying, scientists means this what archaeologist, where did civilization start? In Harappa and Mohenjo-daro.
Okay.
Where is Harappa and Mohenjo-daro? In the Indian subcontinent. So these are all very advanced concepts, and we have to realize how advanced our civilization was once upon a time. How the thinking was so deep. How they connected with the entire universe. How they understood the secret of the universe and presented it to the world. Now, all other civilizations, so-called civilization, all other people in other parts of the world, they have all come later on. And they were first savages. And then slowly, they have developed into civilized human beings. That was not the case with us. We were born of rishis. That's why we have got the gotras. Everybody of us have got gotras. So we were born of rishis who were very highly,
Evolved.
Intelligence is a very simple word to describe what their depth of knowledge was. Unfortunately, what happened was, over a period of time, this knowledge stayed within the Indian subcontinent. It did not go out because, first of all, even with people in the Indian subcontinent, this knowledge was not shared. Because to understand, to assimilate this knowledge, as we have seen, one has to go through the Veda Purva Bhaga completely. First, you do it with the first two Purusharthas, Artha and Kama Purusharthas, you do all the rituals, everything. Then slowly you move towards Dharma Purushartha and start understanding all the rituals with a Karma Yoga standpoint, which is the first step for Chitta Shuddhi. Because the Upanishad is showing us our real nature. So for us to see our real nature in the Upanishad, our mind should be very clear. There should be no crack in the mind. There should be no dust in the mind, no grease on the mind. And it is not very easy to achieve. And that is why, unless, people like Chinmayananda Swamiji, Gurudev, he started propagating this Upanishad knowledge, Gita knowledge to the public. Before that, nobody would venture, no guru would venture to talk about all these things publicly. Because they know that it is not, it will create an atheist. If you tell all these things, what will happen? People will lose faith in God. Oh, I am God. Upanishad says, I am God. Aham Brahmasmi. Oh, then Konyosti Sadrisham Maya, as Bhagavad Gita will say later. Who is there? Like me. I am great. As this somebody in India and all, they say, do you know who my father is? Right? Like that, instead of imparting the knowledge which is very, very essential for getting liberation, there is always a risk of being misunderstood, and because of that, getting further bogged down in samsara with ahankara, mamakara, etc. And therefore, this knowledge was kept only to those people who qualify for this knowledge.
Guhyam.
It was secret. It is Guhyam. Not revealed just like that in the open, a Zoom forum and all. And even when it was revealed, first of all, a student has to have that, what they say, jignasa. I have to know, because student, after so many births, has one spark. Why am I suffering all these things in my world? Is there not a, mukti from all these things? So what is the way out of this? When the jignasa comes, that curiosity comes, the student learns from somewhere that if I go to a guru, I will get the knowledge. So he goes to a guru, and the guru is not going to accept the student just like that. Guru does not have a WhatsApp group. Okay, you all register your name. From next Sunday, we will start the class. Guru doesn't say that. He keeps the student in the ashrama for a long period of time. Observe the student. Whether he has got the enough qualification. First of all, whether he has got vinamrata. So other qualifications which Tattva Bodha we talked about, sadhana chatushte sampati, vairagyam, whether he has got. All those things, they are tested, and then only the guru accepts the students as a guru. That process we see even today in the Shankara, that is what is that? Ashramas, this our Shankara mutts. You cannot become a Shishya of Adi Shankara, this any Shankaracharya, Sringeri or this Kanchipuram, etc., just like that. They don't conduct classes for people like us. They may give some general talks. They don't teach Upanishads like we do. Because that process of selecting the Shishya is still in place there in these mutts. And therefore, First of all, the reason why Western world or outside India it is not there, because this is the intellectual property is in the subcontinent. Number one. Number two, even when the intellectual property is in the subcontinent, people, 99% of the people in this subcontinent who otherwise are exposed to the Vedic knowledge, not necessarily even Vedanta, just Vedic knowledge, they themselves are not able to either perform the rituals or even understand the purpose of these rituals. What to talk of people who have not been even exposed to this knowledge? I'm talking about Karma Kanda, I'm not even talking about Upanishads, Jnana Kanda. And therefore, this knowledge has remained here. It has remained a secret, now being revealed to select number of people. Because I can tell you, you tell this Upanishad teaching to 100 people. We have got the example of our own classes. Bhagavad Gita, when it started, I had 45 people registered to learn Bhagavad Gita. Today, how many people are attending classes regularly? I can count them on my fingers. I am not blaming the people or criticizing the people who have left. It is just that it is not their cup of tea. They are not prepared. They don't have the qualification. There is always everything new, anything new comes, we want to acquire it. So everybody joins. And no guru will feel bad if people leave and go. Okay, fine. You are capable of only traveling up to this much. After that, your travel is, because you get bogged down in all this, anatma business. I have to go there, I have to go there, I have to attend this marriage, I have to do that and all that. Some gurus are not even, they are also not exceptions to these things. And therefore, when it comes to this knowledge, it remains, I would not say shrouded in mystery, restricted rather. But for that matter, you answer your question, one more point I'll add. Today, when people in the Western world have started understanding Western world and even Eastern world like Japan and all, started the value which is there in this knowledge, they are coming and acquiring this knowledge. There are so many Sishyas of Puja Swamiji who are Japan and US. And that's why Puja Swamiji has started, even Swami Chinmayanandaji has a ashram in the US. So that is the change that is taking place. But the change in this area will take place only in trickles. It will not be a big change like an avalanche and all that. We are not bothered about whether anybody else comes or not. I am in it personally because I am a mumukshu. And I want to travel in the spiritual path. So I am doing it. So that is the answer to a question. I hope you got the answer.
Yeah. I know
It's a good question.
it is more a qualitative analysis then.
Yeah, it's a qualitative, not Upanishad is qualitative, not quantitative. Even one student is there, Guru is begin. See, Adi Shankaracharya, to begin with, had only 4 students. He taught all of them. All of them became muktas, Jivan muktas, isn't it? That is the value of this knowledge. So no Guru will worry how many students are there and all that. That's why I said, even if no student is there in the beginning of the class, you are not there, only two had logged in by the time the prayer started. So Krishnanji, our Narayananji said that only 2, 3, including you 3 are there. I said, I'm not worried. Even if there are no students, I will record my talk and then circulate it. It doesn't matter to me. So initially, gurus have to be little strict to imbibe this discipline that they should attend the classes. But over a period of time, when the message has been repeated n number of times, Then everybody is an adult, everybody is mature person. Then they have to take a decision whether I want to attend the classes or I want to go somewhere else, attend some marriage or some guest has come in at home. So I want to attend to them and all. It is their personal choices rather. No guru can say nothing doing. You sit here. I will not allow you to go. They will not say. So that is the whole thing about this teaching, Vedanta teaching. Okay.
Guruji, I have been selected to do that 3 months course in Rishikesh.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, by Swami Dayananda Saraswati's ashram, no,
Yeah.
Sakshat Kritan.
Yeah, they've got this. See, these kind of courses are all meant for filtering people. When you go and attend these courses, they will also observe whether you are really interested or you have just come because 3 months I will stay in Rishikesh, enjoy the weather and all that. Rishikesh in 3 months starting. When is the course starting?
27th of September.
Okay, September, October, November. Right? No.
Yeah,
October,
end November.
December. Be prepared. Very cold it will be.
Yeah.
Very, very cold. I mean, going to be tough time. Take enough woolens and all. Of course, they will be providing blankets and all that. But sometimes, when before go joining this Gurukulam, I attended a 1 week camp in Rishikesh in the month of December. I'm telling you, it is so cold that you can't put your bare feet on the ground. Morning, I used to get up as usual, 5 o'clock and take my bath and all hot water. But to sit for Sandhya Vandanam, even if I got a thin, mat, it will be very cold. I can't do Sandhya Vandanam. So I used to fold the blanket and sit on that and then do Sandhya. So cold it will be. So better be prepared because December and all, the November, December, January, Rishikesh is very cold. Anyhow, I'm giving you
Guruji, you did it in Anekati or in Rishikesh, your complete course?
complete course Anekati.
Anekati.
Yeah. Rishikesh and all was again. I mean, because Swamiji was teaching in Anekati. Puja Swamiji was not teaching in Rishikesh, Rishikesh, some other Swamiji was teaching.
Yeah.
The headquarters is Anekati only. And Puja Swamiji was teaching here. So I prefer to learn from Puja Swamiji. And that is why I came. And
Okay.
moreover, another reason is when I came back from Kuwait, and
Yeah.
in Kuwait, I had asked Swamiji, he said that you keep your eyes and ears open when we announce the next course, you can join. The next course was started in April 2014, and November 2013, I had come back. So this was the course which was available. That is another reason why I joined Anakatti. And I have become a permanent Coimbaturian because of that. Okay, right.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Any other question, comment?
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari-
Hari Om.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, or next class. We'll start a new section. Okay. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.